Good morning. I'm working out in my shop today and I've got the Jeep Cherokee pulled in here. This is the vehicle that I just got up and running and it's been a really fun vehicle. Everybody in my family likes driving this thing. And this one is no show queen, but I'm gonna do some work today to make the front end look a little better and make it more capable off-road. This Cherokee is a 2000 sport version and the front bumper is just really vanilla. There's no lights or hooks or anything in this bumper. So I'm gonna take this bumper off. I'm gonna build something that's much more off-road friendly and I'm gonna go take it out and test it and see how it does outside. So the front end of this vehicle sits a little bit lower than the back end does. Dallin and I put some springs in here that we just found in a Connex over at Matt's yard. I think they lifted it like an inch or two, but I think we got 2 or 3 with the add leaf that we put on the back end. So I'm a little concerned that a heavier bumper will make this sag. I'm gonna measure what this is at right now and we'll measure it afterwards and see what we get. It's like 17.5 inches to the low spot right here. It looks like we're just under 34.5. I'll measure it after we put on the new bumper and the winch and see how much sagging we get. We might have to change out these springs again for something a little taller or add in some of those lift spacers. I'm just checking things out down here, seeing how everything's attached. I'm just gonna start removing nuts and bolts and all these little plastic clips and start taking out everything we're not gonna need. I've got things peeled back and opened up now. There's a lot of stuff I can throw away, but there's a few things in here I'm gonna wanna keep and relocate somewhere. Now we can see what we're dealing with up here a little bit. I got this vacuum canister that I probably need to relocate into the engine base somewhere. The horns are down here as well. I should probably move them, but it doesn't need to be done right away. There's also these inner fenders that I folded up out of the way. They don't have a bumper to hook onto anymore, so I'm just gonna cut them off about halfway up. A lot of stuff came off the front of this Jeep, and it is looking pretty bare. Now it's time to go build that new bumper. This is the Barnes XJ Cherokee do-it-yourself front bumper kit. Fit and finish is amazing. Look at that. 1/2-inch plate of steel, laser cut, nice sharp edges. They used up every little scrap of steel because they're cutting out so many different parts, so you're only paying for exactly what you need, which is this. All of the tricky folding and bending is already done. I'm just gonna start fitting parts together and tacking them into place. So that went together super quick and easy. Couldn't have gone better. I used one clamp to kind of pull things together and hold things in place while I tacked. And now I've got this bar that goes right on the front like this. They even put some little laser etch marks on the steel so you know right where to put it. I've also got a winch that I'm gonna put in here. So I'm gonna grab that, just make sure it fits in with the bar in place. When you have everything tacked together, you're supposed to go test fit it in the Jeep and make sure everything fits. But I'm feeling lucky and I'm just gonna bomb it in. I've got it all tacked together now. I put the hoop on because I thought that might add a little bit of support and strength while it's getting welded so it doesn't warp quite as much. And now it's looking awesome. Some XJ bumpers have these little returns right here that go back and they kind of protect the fender. But I kind of feel like the fenders need to grow up and be able to handle the rocks on their own. They can't have a bumper protecting them their whole life. They just need to suck it up. Let the fun begin. That's all of them. That couldn't have gone better. These parts are so precise that they just fit together really well. It makes it easy to tack it up and it makes it easy to weld the whole thing together. If you're interested in getting one of these bumpers, go check them out at barnes4wd.com. I would love to go test this thing right now, but I'm getting ready to take a trip up to Idaho because my son Bridger asked a girl to prom in Idaho. So we got to get him up there. And along the way, I'm going to stop at BYU because their engineering team is building a race car and they want some help welding it, and I couldn't resist. This sounds really cool, so I'll take you along. I brought a peanut butter and jelly so I don't even have to stop for lunch. Some guy brought me amazing pomegranate jelly. It is fantastic. I'm on the road driving north today. I'm heading to BYU, which is a university about halfway between Hurricane and Idaho Falls. I'm going to spend the day there helping out the engineering students. They have a cool FSAE project. It's like a design build competition where they make race cars and buggies. I think this one's actually going to be electric, which is cool. I've never worked on an electric vehicle, never even changed oil on one. So we're going to go check out what they're doing. I actually graduated from the University of Utah, and they always had the engineering students working on projects like this, but I was never able to get involved. So this will be really fun. I always wanted to do one of these. That's a great name. All right, I'm here in the bowels of the engineering building, and there's a ton of stuff going on. I got one of the cars right behind me that they built before, and they're taking all the parts off this one, and they're gonna put them on a new vehicle that's being fabricated right now over in their welding bay. How many horsepower? 150 horse, and what do these things weigh?
Like 500 pounds.
That's a lot of power in something that light. All right, I don't know anything about these electric vehicles, but I'm learning. Check this thing out, it looks like an octopus. It's got all these arms that hold stuff while you solder. These are the mini Baja vehicles that they were always building at the University of Utah, and I never got to be part of that. They're pretty cool, check them out. Okay, Dallin here has been welding it up. Me and him are taking turns with the TIG welder because there is a lot of welding on this thing. This has been a really fun project, but it is time for me to get out of here and meet up with Angela and Bridger. We're gonna head up to Idaho. Good luck at the race, guys. All right, we made it up to Idaho, and I got some dad stuff I gotta do while I'm here. I brought these tires up with me so we can swap them out onto my son's Jeep. Then we gotta hit the transfer station and cut up some wood. I need some logs for an upcoming project. We'll go do that. We're out of the transfer station now. We are looking for the perfect log. There's some really good ones over here. We'll cut up a few of these, haul them back. One of them's gonna work for us. A good one, Dallin.
I think this is it.
That one's beautiful. That is a specimen right there.
Oh yeah, got it.
I wanna grab one more perfect log. And there's always awesome stuff at the transfer pit. That's looking a lot better. One last dad thing to do. I'm working on Jesse's car and I'm just tightening up this battery cable because it keeps coming loose and she's using a jump pack to start it. Okay, I think that'll do it. I am back from my trip to Idaho. It was so much fun having all my kids together up there. But it's also good to be back here because I'm excited to get this bumper onto that Jeep. This thing is ready to go. It's all welded up, but I want to do a really good job cleaning it up before I get it on there. I want to deburr everything, get rid of all the weld spatter, and make sure that it's all clean. I want to bolt it up, drop a winch on it, and go take it out for a test drive and see how this thing's going to perform. Okay, this thing is all cleaned up. Now I'm gonna use these brackets to bolt it onto the Jeep. I've got the bumper on the Jeep now, and I am really liking the way this thing looks. The brackets were a little tight, so I loosened up one side and they just slid right together. I like the gaps. I like how it doesn't wrap around on the sides. It's a little narrower than some of the other bumpers. I'm gonna put the winch in it right now because I really want to drive it with all that weight in there. So I've got a couple other accessories that need to go on that. I'm gonna mock it up really quick and show you what it looks like. All right, this winch is definitely not gonna go in there the way it is. I'm gonna try and remove the control box from the top and then see if I can fit it in there. If that works, I can remote mount the control box somewhere else, and that'll be a good solution. I have finally got the winch installed in the bumper. It's looking really good. I think I can just slide it all back together now. I really want to get this thing tested with all the weight on the front so I can see how much I'm sagging, so I know how much I need to lift that front end. The Badland winches come with all the stuff to remote mount the control box, so I could do that, or I could just notch the grill here. I don't know which one I'm gonna do. I'll figure that out another day. All right, now I'm just playing to see how everything's gonna look. These are the new Road Shock lights from Harbor Freight. These things are awesome. They're insanely bright and they're super tough and durable. You can just feel the quality. They have these huge, massive aluminum heat sinks on the back, so you know they're gonna last a long time. I've also got the Yankum Tow Points Fairlead in here. If you wanna get 10% off any of the Yankum Ropes products, just use the discount code TOMTOM when you check out. There's a link in the description of this video that you can use as well. So the bumper is all together now, and it's pretty close to its final weight. So I'm gonna take measurements now to see how much ground clearance we gained or we lost. We're at about 20 inches. We were at 17 and a half to the bottom of that plastic piece that was down there, but I think we were at 21 and a half to the bumper. So we're higher than the plastic was, but we're lower than the bumper was. I think some of that has to do with the extra weight that we added, and some of that might just be that this is a little taller. I'm gonna measure the side now to see how much this thing is sagging. Looks like we're at 34 inches, so we're down about another ½ inch. That's gonna make the back end of this thing look like it's sitting really high, like kind of stink bug stance. So I need to do something on the front end eventually, but right now, I just wanna get it out in the rocks. I've gathered together all the essentials for a day at Sand Hollow. I've got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, I've got my Easy Flate, and I mounted a flag to the back of the XJ. I'm gonna set all my tires today at 12 PSI because that's what I've been running in Dig Dug, and I wanna get a good comparison today between the way Dig Dug rides and this XJ rides in the same terrain. My son has owned this vehicle most of the time we've had it, so I haven't had this thing off-road much, and it is really fun to get it out. The suspension in this vehicle is set up almost exactly the opposite of Dig Dug. It's really, really soft. That makes it quicker most of the time off-road, but it's also really easy to blow through the suspension and bottom it out. Head over towards the funnel because I think that's gonna be a really good place to test out this bumper, see what my approach angle is like, and how it's gonna work in the rocks. That spot right there is where Matt wrecked the spud truck. So I think this little Jeep is gonna do all right. Okay, this is the funnel. It's not the most extreme obstacle, but it is a good test for approach angle because a lot of vehicles scrape when they're coming into this or when they're coming back down. So we'll just watch and see how our bumper does. I feel like I barely touched the front end when I was going up there, which is not bad for a Jeep on 31-inch tires with a saggy front end. I'm gonna cruise up a little bit further before I turn around, but then we'll check and see how it does on the funnel on the way out. All right, I found a spot to take a break. I'm enjoying my peanut butter and jelly sandwich out here and just looking at all the cool places there is to explore. Another day. It's time to head back out of here. I'm gonna hit a couple of these obstacles the other way and see how this bumper does, and it's time to head home. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. That was a pretty good smack on the way down. But check this out, the bumper is totally fine. Lifting the front end of this a couple of inches will do a lot for this vehicle. This XJ is gonna be great. We've built enough XJs that I knew I was gonna love this one, and I do. I think I prefer the suspension too soft versus too stiff like I have in Dig Dug, so I'll have to keep that in mind as I start building Dig Dug more. This thing's gonna be great. Thanks for watching.